Play this record as frequently as possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, imagine my surprise when I went to Walmart and just so happened to find an entire line of what I assume is going to be just absolute peak, especially compared to what we've had in the last, recent couple of years. I'm expecting to have pretty much nothing but good things to say here. We finally found the 80th anniversary Motorized Thomas line. Not just James, not just Flying Scotsman, not just Thomas, but Gordon. The only two we have left currently are Percy and Duck. Now, I knew eventually these were reviews I was going to do because, I mean, who's not excited about TRACKMASTer basically returning? Or, I guess just good motorized trains returning in general. And, we have a pretty good roster to start out with, if you ask me. But kind of on that note, since there's so much to talk about, I think we're going to take Gordon and Scotsman, pull those two for this video, and just kind of focus on Thomas and James, the two I was personally the most excited about. Okay, not really Thomas, it was more James and Scotsman. But the moment I saw these troublesome trucks, I got really excited for this Thomas. So, if that counts, I guess, Yeah, for this video, we'll focus on these two. Look out for the part 2, which will be the review on these two, and eventually part 3 on Percy and Duck, or just Duck and Percy whenever I get them. Yeah, I think that's enough of that. Let's get into this video. Now, you guys know me. At this point, I pretty much just buy play rail. TRACKMASTer was something that died when All Engines Go came out for me, because I just didn't really care for the toys. They weren't that interesting to me. These have kind of changed the game, and probably for a lot of people have changed the game. These are actually pretty cool, but I can't lie, they're a little bit jarring to me. Like, immediately when you look at this James, is he not just a little bit ginormous, like a little bit fat? And I know a lot of you guys are probably curious. I don't really plan to modify these things to run on the play rail layout because, well, the loading gauge is completely and totally different. I don't think this James, or probably this Thomas with the size of that cab, are fitting through most tunnels or Brindham docks or anything like that. They're kind of their own thing, so this is potentially starting me having to buy those new motorized sets. So we'll see. They kind of need some track to run on, But to be fair, that's probably the worst first impression I have. I mean, when I look at these things, the first thing I think is, wow, especially James here, since there's so much, extra detail. Look at the rivet work. Look at the handrails there. I will say, again, the size is very jarring, especially when you look at how small that tender is. That's going to be the exact same thing with every other tender engine, I imagine, though. Not really a special problem for James here. And here's a look at Thomas. Thomas, I can't lie, this thing looks pretty freaking good, but there's quite a bit to it that's a little weird, if you ask me. What is this paint scheme? Is it weathering? Is that like a discoloration to the blue? I don't really get it, but at the very least it's unique. We don't really have a Thomas that looks like that I can remember. And look at the troublesome trucks he comes. These things look amazing. Look at the extra detail on them, like the rust and just the frames being painted. I'm pretty sure the faces are the same, but painted differently. We'll see when I open that up. Again, Thomas might not be the thing I'm the most excited about because it's a little bit weird to me, but I'm just happy to have this Thomas in general, and he comes with some pretty killer rolling stock from the looks of it. Didn't even talk about James having a white tanker. Now that feels classic to me. See, that's just very Season 1 or Season 2 to me. Just a random white tanker. I pretty much make those in every range or brand I do, whether it's N-Scale, HO scale, I've made them in Tomy. That's like my favorite type, and here it is, just with James randomly. I'm pretty excited for this. This is pretty freaking cool. But yeah, enough about first impressions. Let's talk about the boxes, which are pretty simple, truth be told. There's really not a lot to say here. It just kind of says Classic James and Classic Thomas there at the front. The corners give you little pictures of, both, or renders, I guess, of both engines. There's James and there's Thomas. Now, around the box, there are these little 80th anniversary emblems, I guess. That's at the front and the top there. And that's pretty much it. You kind of just get a very large window into the locomotive. There's nothing on the back. There's not like a list of the other engines that are available or anything like that. It's just warning labels and stuff like that. I will say they're very simple, but these are the kind of boxes I really appreciate. They're very instantly catching. You see this and you know it's a Thomas & Friends product. That blue is iconic. That logo is iconic. And also, there's so much little things that they did here. Like, look at this Thomas pulling 2 little flatbeds, and that's the barcode. That's just so cute. And look at the bottom here. There's Thomas climbing a barcode like it's a little hill. This is the kind of thing that I really appreciate, and that I think most fans appreciate, or, older fans, I guess. If you give this to a kid, like if I gave this to my son, it's probably just, ooh, cool, red train. To somebody like me, though, this is worth every freaking penny. $14.99 for this, I would do it again. I probably will do it again. I want another one of these tankers. Enough dilly-dally. Let's start with Thomas here. I'm the most excited again for James, but I think it's only fair we start this review with the title character, you know. What is the best way to open? I don't want to destroy it, but shoot. It looks like I might. Just trying to get to Thomas. Whatever. Come on, show me the money. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of destroying the box a little bit, but it is what it is. Oh, there's tape here too. Fuck off, Mattel. Is that should be all the tape. Let's see. Oh my gosh, here he is. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, they're all connected too. Oh, we lost the load. Genuine I've never held one of these. I've never seen one of these before. Holy shit, this is pretty cool. Wow. Now immediately the size, it's kind of jarring. Like, this does not feel like a Tomy when you hold it, but look at that. Look at that face. It's a little bit weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is he looking up that way for? I don't care. It's a good looking Thomas face. We haven't had those in years. Now, sadly, the running board here is not painted the full way. I'm pretty sure that's on all of these guys. It does not extend past the front of the splasher. That's an easy fix, though. That's something I could very easily just mask off and boom, it's done. You know, holding it and kind of looking at it, the cab isn't so awkward. I was kind of, when I looked at it in the box, thinking the cab was going to be something that was a major criticism. Not really. Proportionally, this Thomas could be much, much worse. I think the wheels, if anything, look a little small, you know, because they're the traditional all engines go TrackMaster Revolution wheels we've had for years. That's probably the only thing that hasn't been updated here. Like, look at the side rods. They even have a little spot or a little molding there in the middle for the middle wheel, which does not turn. Again, that's just kind of molded there. But they did that. They just decided to add that. That's pretty cool. And look at his handrails as well. This is pretty freaking neat. There is also a back lamp, not painted. That's, again, an easy fix. And no paint on the whistle as well. This is a pretty simple engine to fix if you wanted a exactly perfect Thomas. And this was like, again, $14.99 at Walmart. We are so back. This just feels so cool. Now, I was a little worried that the printing itself wouldn't be so good, but I mean, looking at it, that could be so much. There's not really any graininess to it. It's very, what you see is what you get. It just is it's a solid blue. I mean, it's a solid number one. That weathering, whatever it is very solid as well. The handrails are very solid. The rivet work, everything, this is very, very nice. It's also very subtle, probably just a, you know, consequence of the printing itself, but you can totally feel the rivets on the side. There's so much attention to detail with this thing. I really appreciate it. We finally have good Motorized merch again. That's really all you can say. It looks like the only sticker, which is kind of taking after Tomy, is the front windows here, which, I mean, that's, again, a very easy fix. I have a 3D printer. I could just print some new porthole windows. Boom, perfect Thomas. And it looks like there's absolutely nothing here on the back of the cab. There's no back windows, nothing like that. The coal kind of just works its way up to the very top. I know I'm kind of glazing this thing a little bit, but like, if I had to rate it at this point, and a lot of it's probably just height, but a 10 out of 10. This thing looks amazing. Hopefully it runs amazing. It's probably the most unique and spot-on Thomas toy we've gotten in so long. But it kind of, at least to me, raises the question, what is this for? Like, what's the point of this Thomas? All Engines Go is kind of a thing, you know what I'm saying? And not really anymore. I think it's canceled. So is this for like a Thomas reboot show? That would be pretty cool. I mean, nothing like that's been announced yet, but I mean, why else would they be making these? I don't know. I'm probably just speculating a little bit there, but that's probably my biggest question. And what exactly is the point of these? Are these just for like people like me who are like 24, 25 and want Thomas trains? Because it worked. I bought them. I bought all of them. And again, Thomas aside, he also comes with two beautiful troublesome trucks. Now, it is a little bit interesting that he doesn't come with Annie and Clarabelle. I just feel like that's something you would expect with Thomas's first release, especially in a motorized range. I'm not mad at it, though. These troublesome trucks look awesome, and I kind of just got them because I really wanted to see James and, like, Gordon and Scotsman pull them. It's very worth getting a new Thomas, too. I mean, I was completely and totally wrong. I was not very hyped about this guy. Now I am ecstatic. This thing is just so freaking cool. And here's a look at these troublesome trucks as well. Again, it does look like the same face, or yeah, it's the exact same face mold, but they're painted differently. So I guess you could say they're a little bit different in that way. Besides that, they're, you know, pretty spot on. They're molded in this kind of light gray. They have an even lighter gray painted frames and just rust or mud all over them. And I think that looks very, very unique and kind of cool. It's a little bit jarring. I'm pretty sure this is the exact same thing as the All Engines Go trucks, or the same one that was sold in that like windmill set. But now it's just got a little bit extra detail. That's just cool if you ask me. And they also have little crate loads, which are a little bit different. One's a lighter brown, one's a darker brown. Besides that, they are the same mold. Yeah, identically the exact same mold. But at least they have loads, both trucks. Again, that's more than you get with like most modern play rail stuff. Are these focusing? Are you seeing this? This is 10 out of 10, especially with the truck. 10 out of 10. This is a beautiful Thomas set, and I highly recommend it, especially if it just pops up randomly at your Walmart like it did mine. Buy it. You won't regret it. Like at this point, I kind of want to go back and buy a second Thomas just so I can have 4 troublesome trucks and 1 to customize. You know what I'm saying? This is just It's a lot of excitement. It's finally, it feels cool to be excited about a Thomas toy again. It's been so long. Here we are. We finally got some cool merch. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just excited. And this isn't even the one I'm the most excited for. Moving on, this is the one that has been... James, my favorite character. He's here. He's fat. I don't know what they've been feeding him a lot behind the scenes, but it's just we finally have a James, and it doesn't look like shit. Let's go. Awesome. Perfect. That could be worse. That box is still pretty intact, if you ask me. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not what we're here to talk about. We have a new motorized James. That is, wow. What can I say? What the hell am I holding? Now, don't take that as a bad thing. It's just, this feels so strange. Like, he's so large. You know what I'm saying? Like, here he is next to Thomas. I can kind of see what they were going for with the smaller engine, larger engine idea. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of just makes James here look monstrous. And it's kind of funny. I kind of like it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, same as Thomas. We have beautiful rivet work here along the side of the boiler, side of the cab. A little bit of a handrail there. I mean, that's not a complete open cab, but that's, again, a lot more than play rail or something like that. You could totally fit a little engine crew in there. I'm not sure what scale that would be, but I mean, you could if you wanted to. And I mean, the face is, at least it looks like James. I'll say that. These faces are, I don't really know if these would be helped by like classic series faces because they feel, at least to me, like CGI Thomas toys. So maybe if I replace that with like a CGI surprised or angry or just even happy face, maybe that would look a little bit cooler because this is just, it's like a pancake face. It's very flat, but at least again, it looks like James. It could be worse, a lot worse. Now, sadly, just like Thomas, he has an incomplete running board. It's just the front here, not even up to the first splasher. And speaking of the splashers, they are not lined up at all. If you look at Scotsman and Gordon here, their splashers are at least lined up with their wheels, even if it looks a little bit awkward. James doesn't even have that. They're completely and totally out of line. And again, that's just a little bit odd. It's a little unfortunate. There's a lot of oddities with this James. I'll say that. It's different, very different. I mean, even the wheels aren't a straight black. They're more like a rubber black where there's just almost a little gray. You know what I'm saying? Enough to where you can tell they're not black, if that makes any sense. But again, don't take these all as like super hard criticism. This is such a cool toy. To have a James that I actually wanted to go out and buy and find and spent months trying to find, and I finally have him. That just feels cool to me. It's just, we finally have cool merch again, guys. And the James isn't that bad. I mean, in terms of cab detail at the front, there's nothing. There's no porthole windows, anything like that. It's pretty much the exact same size as his boiler. He's kind of like a literal galloping sausage. It's kind of what he looks like. I don't think Gordon's going to be much better in that fact. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the James. Very long, awkward coupling right there for the tender in the back. We'll probably address that here later. Here's a look at the tender itself, which is, this probably feels the most normal. I mean, it's small. It's a normal tender, I guess. Same as James, a little bit of extra rivet detail there. Quite a bit of a foot plate. So if you wanted to put a crew on them, you totally could. Looks like this coal load is completely removable. So if you wanted to add like actual coal inside of there, I imagine that's an option. I don't really know why that's a feature. That's kind of, maybe if you wanted to load up the troublesome truck, but then what would James be running on? Let's put them together. Let's see this real quick. I'm not a fan of that. I can't say that's something I'm a fan of. That is a huge distance between James and the tender. That is, if I can, something I want to address. Maybe I'll just swap out this back coupling here for something else. Hopefully I have something that would work for that. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest criticism I have so far. I also told front buffers on the front of the tender. That's kind of inaccurate. James doesn't have front buffers on the front of his tender, but like that's a cool detail. Like that's, again, to see something like that on a J, they're trying. Is that has to count for something? At least it does to me. I'm kind of just ranting. I'm very excited if you couldn't tell. But yeah, there's James. I'd say this one's like an 8 out of 10. It's not the best thing in the world, but again, it's just kind of cool. I'll restate this again, to be excited about a James toy. And it's, it feels very classic. Like when I look at this, it feels like an old TRACKMASTER. It feels like an old Tomy almost. It has that nostalgic feel. So if that's something that Mattel's going for, I think they nailed it. So I'd say 8 out of 10 for this James is pretty fair. It's definitely not a 10 out of 10. It's not perfect. There's immediately some things I have to fix. And now, probably the most random piece, but again, something I was very excited for. The white tanker, which, again, is probably one of those all engines go tankers that's just like repainted and now repurposed, but this feels awkward. It feels weird when I look at it. Why is it so tall? Like, it feels like a 3D print that got squished down and not adjusted in height, if that makes any sense. But whatever, it's here. And it's with James, of all characters. And I mean, that's, while it is random, it's just cool to, I mean, this is something I actually want to put into a train. You know what I'm saying? Like, this with the troublesome trucks will look so cool. It's, I don't know. Finally, TRACKMASTER's back. It feels like it's been years. It literally has been years. So with the tanker in account, I'd say this is like maybe an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, it's still not perfect. It's, I would absolutely recommend picking this up. This is not a James you want to miss on. but it's also, it's a little weird, you know what I'm saying? I can't say this is a perfect engine. Can't really say Thomas is perfect either, but at least it's, they're both just so cool, you know what I'm saying? It's just so, to have a James that looks like this in 2025, we're so back. I gotta say 10 out of 10 on time. Unexpected perfection. I mean, again, there's a little bit of work I gotta do. Just also realize the back, but maybe we'll dock it to 9. The back buffers are totally not painted. 9. I think you can't give James an 8.5 and give Thomas a 10. 9, 8.5. Could be a little bit better. League's better than absolutely anything we've seen in probably, like, what, 5 years at this point? Yeah, at this point, let me just wait for the track to get here. I'll set it up. We'll do a bit of a running session. Maybe I'll talk about it because, I don't really have anything good to say about All Engines Go train sets normally. Maybe this one will be different. Probably not. Again, I kind of just bought it to run these guys, but we're going to do it. It's soon. I'm saying this so I can cope. Don't worry about it. Okay, so for anyone wondering what the chassis looks like with these things, it's a little interesting. It's very small. This is James. Here's where the 2 AAA batteries go, and very, very long switch. Feels very reminiscent of like an old knockoff toy when I look at something like that. I don't know. And here's what the inside of his body looks like. It's, interesting, again, to say the least. Here's where the front wheel is, or the front molded wheel. Looks like that's a completely separate piece if you wanted to remove that. Looks like that area, or the dome, holds in the face from that very large piece of plastic there. Again, just a little bit weird, a little bit odd to look at. Now, my biggest criticism of James was shortening this tender connection, and I think I figured out exactly how I'm going to do that. So this right here, this little hook, shout out Extreme Trains, because he's the one who figured this out first, can just straight up be attached to where the front hook of the tender used to be. As that in itself, as it turns out, is a loop. It's got a little, circle there, so you could just take this off and slip this in there. Now, I'm pretty sure you did note that modification will make him run a bit wonky, especially on like hills and stuff like that, but that's not really something I personally plan to implement into many layouts. I don't care for those really giant, crazy, drastic hills. I just kind of want a simple little cool loop that I can detail, and this is perfect. That might just be just that. I guess we'll see. If that ends up impeding, operation too much, I'll probably just revert it back, but that is something, at least it looks like, that you can totally do. Yeah, there's that. Let's take a look at the inside of Thomas, because haven't opened him up yet, and I assume it will be very, very largely the same. Yep, same as James. It's, exactly blue wheels. That's really the only difference there. Oh, and the coupler's actually attached to Thomas's chassis here. I think it's the same really long coupler as on pretty much the same. On Thomas, it's not as jarring, because the body is so large, it just kind of makes it look like a normal coupling. On James, it does not work. So I don't really have to do that modification on Thomas, thankfully. Not really a huge deal, but I did just notice the chassis, at least on Thomas. No, on them both, it's not really black. It's more, again, like a rubber black. It's like a very dark gray than it is a black, again. Kind of neat. Again, feels like a knockoff, but it's not. These are real Thomas toys that are being sold in 2025 that I think you should get. And Mattel's not paying me to say that, but they totally could. Send me Percy and Duck. Send me Percy. We could be in business. We can be in business. Over 600 videos, and all I've gotten is demonetized and copyright strucken. But yeah, let me get on finishing that James modification, putting batteries in these things and seeing if they work. And hopefully the next time we click into this video, there'll be a layout here or a track set here, and I'll put it together, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so I kind of went and got one of those All Engines Go, like, bucket train sets. Like, that's the bucket, and it makes a pretty, like, 3 different train sets. This is the one I like the most. It's a little bit much, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, this has nothing to do with the video, so we're not gonna spend too long talking about this, but let me rant for a minute. Why is all the track different color? Like, why are the straights orange and then sometimes blue or sometimes green? And what is this hill? This does not look, I don't like this. Now, I'm not gonna act like it doesn't look cool when the engines can go up, an incline that steep. But I kind of just want to run normal trains, and I really worry about James with these wagons on this. We'll see. But yeah, if anyone was curious, this is what a 30 bucks gets you for or I guess in terms of All Engines Go track, and it's really not that bad. I mean, I can now operate them. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot better. No, I'm gonna say it again. Why can't the track just be all one color? I miss TRACKMASTER Revolution, and I never thought I would say that phrase. That's just so fucked to me. All right, first let's just see if this works, and then we'll get into like proper running footage. Here goes James. I think I built this a little bit incorrectly. I put the. All right, he made it up there pretty well. He's doing all right. Let's see about the... I'm worried about coming down. Oh, okay. We almost lost the tender a little bit. Gonna have to keep watching on that one. He made it over the hump pretty all right, though. All right, here he comes. Back down. Just gonna... I mean, not so bad. Again, it's the hill. Or maybe the Switch 2. I just don't think it likes all these inclines. You know what I'm like? Look at that. He goes just fine on the curves, just fine going straight. But the moment he tries to go downwards and curve, it just doesn't really work out that well. But I mean, it's operating. It could be a lot worse. All right, back around, and let's try straight. You know, that's really not so much to where I'm gonna change it back. That's all right. Yeah, that could be a lot. Again, when I build this like a proper layout, it's not going to have hills like that. Or I hope it doesn't. It should just be like normal straights and forwards. I'm just as confused as you are. What?
Bye-bye. See you soon.